All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. Your cam is in the house. Please share this live stream with all of your friends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And bear with me as I proceed to get my presentation in order. Thank you for your patience. Welcome, family, to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. I am the founder, president, and CEO of GERCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. I created this platform to discuss solving cultural issues, political issues, and social issues using an Afrocentric perspective. I interview activists, artists, entrepreneurs, and musicians. That's on my friends list. So, you know, if you want to come on this platform and you're on my friends, let's say my Facebook page, if you're friends with me on there, on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, or X, then all you have to do is send me a message to my inbox and include your email address. And I would, talk with you and, just tell you the procedure about getting on this platform. So that's what I do over here. I also created this platform in order to recruit brave and smart Black Americans beyond Chicago, as well as brave and smart African immigrants across the United States of America from 10 African nations. They are South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I need your help. Unfortunately, I am unable to reach Black Americans due to this slave mentality within my lineage, descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. For 34 years, I've been reaching out to Black Chicagoans in real life as well as online. And also, I've been reaching out to them beyond Chicago as well. But then again, that's been 34 years. A majority of them tell me that they're not interested in my vision and plan to help improve our social conditions within the low income Black community. It is what it is. I've been paying out of pocket for my business title for the past 16 years, and still I don't have an advisory board or a resource team. That's unacceptable, Black America. And this is why I am reaching out to African immigrants across the United States of America, as well as I'm reaching out to the global African family. All I need you all to do for me is help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list. That will put me in a better position financially so that I can hire Black people, African people, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, after all, this business is for descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. That's what this thing is all about. Once we get it popping here in Chicago, I can turn the business over to my advisory board and expand it to the African continent. So, if those of you that's on the African continent, if you're serious about me coming to Africa, then help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list. And most of all, put me on blast. I need you all to participate in these live streams. Don't just leave a comment, that's fine and dandy. But get on this platform, get on camera, Especially, I'm running across a lot of FBAs that want to talk crazy to me and stuff like that. That's easy for you to cower behind a comment. Get on my platform, get on camera, and debate me head on. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing changing over here. You're not gonna tell me who to ally with. And then plus, I'm from the soil and we're from the same lineage. But again, you off code because it was an FBA that got me kicked off of Substack. I was on Substack for 6 months trying to grow my audience over there. And some dude, you know, started talking crazy to me and stuff. Um, and I just told him, send me his email address, make arrangements with me to come on this platform, get on camera and debate me. And then before, a couple of days later, I found out my account was closed. I'm like, ain't that a trip? And I'm not bugging nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to recruit brave and smart people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on. Over here, we have a zero tolerance for foolishness. So, but um, yeah. So that's how that is. Um, my business will be membership based, and I'm only responsible for GERCAM members and their immediate family members. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. My film project is my last attempt to try to build something productive for my lineage and racial group. I'm not getting pushback from white America. Instead, I'm getting pushback from Black America, the same people that I'm called to help. But in my business, it's going to be membership based. So those that's not if you're not interested in being a part of my business, cool. Delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. You know what I'm saying? If you're not interested in solving Black issues or solving African issues, you're taking up space. I encourage all of my listeners and global African family, like I say, please help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list so that way that will put me in a better position financially so I can hire Black people, African people, and others. Um, also encourage those of you who live in the United States of America, if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then you will automatically become a GERCAM member. Also, get behind our film project. We're trying to raise $250,000 on our crowdfunding site so that way everybody know exactly where the money will be going. Our objective is to build the best Black Christian business within the United States of America, and that is GERCI of Chicago, which stands for the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. We're going to build that with the help of GERCAM members, and that GERCAM members, again, will consist of DAS, FM, Descendants of American Slaves / Freedmen, and African immigrants from 10 African nations that's here in America. We want to get it popping here in Chicago first for credibility. We're going to build it from the mud. In layman terms, we're going to build it from the ground up. So that's what we're on. Um, hold on. All right. I don't want to come to Africa empty-handed. I want to bring economic tangibles in the form of job creation for GERCAM members and locals. My African plan is to establish GERCAM, or I'm going to say GERCI, in 10 African nations. So, for example, I'm focusing now on Kenya. If Kenya's standing up and if Kenyans, receive me, I need those of you that's in Kenya to encourage Kenyans that's here in the United States of America, encourage them to work with me. That's going to help speed up the process. Again, all those African nations that I just named, encourage your people or family members that lives here in the United States. Tell them about me. Encourage them to work with me. Um, I know that Black Americans are going to come on board once they see this business materialize. All right now, they just, it's just, that slave mentality, when you don't have much and stuff like that, people don't, take you serious and all that stuff. It's just really ridiculous. But all I can say is those that rejected my vision and plan for the past 34 years, including my family members, would not be part of my business because, again, this is membership based. That's just how it is, and that's how it's going to be. Um, so, in each African nation, I want to bring the best of DAS FM. We will help improve the African economy through our talents and skills in exchange for dual citizenship and land. I would talk with each African government behind closed doors because I'm not putting all my business out there. I'm just saying, this is just like general information. I'm not being in detail, Pacific, and all that. You know, Before we get into today's episode, if you are new to this podcast or if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And be sure to tap the notification bell for alerts when we upload a new video. Please let us know in the comments section below um, this audio podcast where you're listening to us from. Also, let us know what's happening in your country, in your state, or in your city. And make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that way you can discuss it in real time. We are a global community and we want to keep our listeners informed about what's going on with Black people and African people across the globe. I would like for us to grow this platform to 500,000 strong and also for us to get our film project fully funded and made so that way we can use the proceeds from the film to purchase property in Chicago, Illinois, within the low income Black community, as well as in the middle class Black community. And we want to become an economic base within um, the Black community in both the low income Black community as well as in the middle class Black community. Eventually, in God's timing, we will be hosting African tours, Caribbean tours, and South American tours so that way we can move beyond cyberspace and make our presence known in cities and countries around the globe. On this platform, we share news and social commentary on a variety of topics ranging from politics to social justice. I provide thought provoking views and details. I provide receipts that support my statements. I noticed that the biggest YouTubers are using some of our talking points. Hey, it is what it is. I give authentic commentary that speaks to my passion for sharing a light on truth and exposing lies and liars alike. I have zero tolerance for foolishness and disrespect. On this platform, we are more than just talk. We will put boots on the ground and do what we can to help improve the social conditions of our people who are GCAM, who wants to become GCAM members. To learn more about our business opportunities within our media component, please purchase my ebook and read my story for yourself. Um, so That's what I'm on. Again, I'm not here for entertainment. When I get on this microphone, I'm here to recruit brave and smart Black Americans beyond Chicago, brave and smart African immigrants across the United States of America. That's legal because we don't want issues with Trump. And we ain't trying to hide, you know what I'm saying? Nor am I talking in code. I'm speaking in plain English. You know what I'm saying? I've given notice to everyone on my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my TikTok page, my LinkedIn page, and my X page. If you do not care about solving Black issues or solving African issues, then please delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. And that's real. Don't come to no events with my name on it. And also do not change your mind. Stay on it. Stand on what you feel. There's one less person for me to have to worry about. Um, and again, the name of my book, which is the foundation of my Christian business, is called, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available as an ebook for $9.99. That's the one I'm trying to encourage people to get. Help and also help me get that book on the bestsellers list. So that way I can do more than just sit up here and do social commentary. Because I'm ready to get this thing off the ground. Been ready. Uh, I encourage all of my listeners from the global African family, like I say, just put me on blast. That helps speed up the process. Uh, okay, my book is available in two forms as an ebook for $9.99, as well as a softcover book for $15 plus shipping and handling. I provide my Amazon author page in the comments section below this audio podcast. Disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is based on public available reports and verified media sources. We fully comply with YouTube's community guidelines. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation in any form. This podcast is available in two forms, audio and also as a written text, in order for us to reach our audience. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our Black media component. I would like to encourage my listeners to subscribe to my Medium page. On there, that's where I provide my Medium transcripts, where I do my actual speeches. And you can find my current Medium transcript in the comment section below this audio podcast. You know, if you are a Black artist, African artist, such as an author, comedian, poet, musician, or entrepreneur, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that way you can promote your books, your business, your music, your jokes. And if you have a small ministry, then we welcome you to share a 30-minute sermon with our listeners from the global community. After the show, I offer an incentive to my guest speakers by teaching them how to create their own podcast, YouTube channel, and get it monetized, as well as assist them with creating a free Wix website. I'm available on Saturday, July 11th, Sunday, July 12th, Monday, July 13th, Wednesday, July 15th through Sunday, July 19th, Monday, July 20th through Friday, July 24th, Sunday, July 26th through Thursday, July 30th, all between 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. American Central Time. On this platform, we keep you informed and empowered from wherever you are, either the diaspora or on the African continent. Don't just listen to our audio or video podcast. Join the movement, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to do more than just news and social commentary, but at this point, this is where I'm at because without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God given assignments. It is what it is. Okay. I would like to encourage people that's interested in being on my advisory board or resource team. I would encourage you to have either an associate's degree or above. I want Black attorneys, African attorneys, investors, financial planners, marketers, Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists. You know what I'm saying? Because I want this business to be effective and successful for years to come, and for us to pass down this business to the next generation. I want to make sure none of my members have to go through this kind of foolishness I went through. 34 years, ladies and gentlemen. This is just ridiculous. But like I say, I have to put up with this mess because uh, I don't have the capital. That's why I wrote the book in order to generate capital. That's why I created the virtual store in order to generate capital. So that way I can hire people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them want to act all funny style and have a funky attitude. And hey, if you act like that with me, no problem. All I'm saying is I'm gonna make sure that we remain strangers for life, and that's real. Um, so uh trying to see. I encourage Black content creators and African content creators who have a large following. Please allow me to come on your platform so that way I can speak to your audience about my revised book and my film project. Um, my Christian business is for Black millennials and Generation Z. But again, I can't build all of this stuff alone. This is a Nehemiah assignment. And I want people to become GRCAM members because, um, if you're a GRCAM member, I'll work with you and your immediate family members. And, it'll be a nice situation because I can't help everybody. It is what it is. Again, I don't want to be doing this another 34 years. Not at all. Um, I don't want the brand and vision to die in America. I want to promote this vision to the Black world. This is my contribution to Africa's rising. This year, we are determined to get this film project fully funded and made. So help me God. In order to get our story on the big screen, to reach the Black masses and the Black world, and let them know what we're trying to do for Black Americans who identify as DAS FM, descendants of American slaves / freedom. You know, upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for Saturday, July 25th, 2026. We're hosting our monthly virtual interactive conference. I encourage 5 people from my Facebook page, Instagram page, LinkedIn page, TikTok page, or from my X page to come forth and be on the panel so that way we can discuss our monthly theme. And that would be, quote, Africa and the Caribbean nations created a 19-point framework for reparations, where YouTube Live when Saturday, July 25th, 2026 time, 2 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. If interested Again, if you're interested, then please send me a message to my inbox along with your email address, and I will send you specific information about being on the panel. Thanks. If you are unable to participate on our monthly virtual interactive conference, no worries. Then please listen to the replay, leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section. And most of all, please share my audio podcast with your friends on all social media sites that you're on. This will help get the ball rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Title of this presentation: The Walmart Parking Lot Shooting. Was it justified? What happened to Nolan Wells? And I'm Black America, but identify as DAS FM, not FBA. And here's why. Our first topic: the Walmart parking lot shooting. Was it justified? On Friday, July 3rd, 2026, there was an incident over a parking space in Florida at a Walmart parking lot. I believe this was a road rage incident. A sister had to use lethal force against a white dude who was trying to run up on her. Thank God that there was a video which caught everything. She didn't do anything wrong. I know a lot of people are going to say, Emmanuel, he was unarmed. You can't legally shoot an unarmed person. Yes, you can. In the state of Florida, according to their laws, or according to their stand your ground laws, um, even if I believe, and probably a lot of you believe, that she didn't do anything wrong, we got to understand what's at play here. The first thing people are going to want to say is this isn't about race. Yes, it is. Anytime you deal with an incident in America that involves a black and white person, then the racial issue plays a factor in it. Question: who in their right mind will walk up on someone who has a gun pointed at them? How many of y'all will do that? A smart person would say, wait a minute, let me apologize and get back into my car. That gun has the power of life and death. But not this dude. When she pointed that gun at him, he continued to walk towards her. And so I'm going to show videos after I finish going through this presentation. So just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. She kept telling him to stop. Let's get to the beginning of how everything started. Witnesses said that she was trying to get into a parking space. This man blocked her from getting into that parking space. He sat there for a couple of minutes, then he finally moved. Then she got into the parking space. She spoke with someone from another car next to hers. The man then walked up to her car. He was coming towards her fast, like he was about to do something. She drew her pistol. Instead of him going back into his car and preserve his life, he figured she was scared and wouldn't shoot him. And all she shot him and he lost his life. Rest in peace to him, because he wouldn't have lost his life if he was not trying to bully this sister. They mentioned that he's a U.S. military veteran. That's unfortunate that he had to die that that way over a parking space, which a lot of people believe the main reason why he died was over a parking space. I don't believe that. I believe that he died because he was trying to bully this sister. The fact that she even pulled out a gun on him tells us how scared she was. And she told the man to stop, but he did not listen. Here's the cold blooded part about the situation. A lot of people are going to say this black woman shot an unarmed U.S. military veteran. That ain't going to play well in her favor. That's not going to favor her because he was unarmed, a veteran, and he's white. The fact that he was a white man is going to play a major role if she gets charged or not. According to Florida law, you don't have a duty to retreat. She did not have a duty to retreat, and she did multiple times before she fired her gun. So, according to the law, it should be self defense, no duty to retreat. A person does not have to turn to run away or escape before using force. If they are in a place they have a lawful right to be. She was at Walmart parking lot. That's a public space. She had a right to be there. She was by her car, so she had a legitimate reason. That's all I'm saying. The person claiming immunity cannot be engaged in criminal activity at the time and must have a legal right to be in at that location. Again, she wasn't committing any crime or anything like that. She had a legal right to be in that parking lot, not the aggressor. The individual cannot provoke the confrontation and an initial aggressor generally cannot claim stand your ground unless they completely withdraw from the fight first. There is one problem. She is Black American, and that's a huge strike against her. Yes, it was clearly self defense. She was in a place where she could be at. But in the state of Florida, it's hard to get self defense claims when you're black and you shoot a white person. If they take her to trial, let's just say that they charge her and take her to trial, she is twice more than likely to be convicted because her her victim is a white person and she happens to be a black person. There's a racial disparities when it comes to self-defense claims. Whenever there's a self-defense claim, especially in Florida, and you are black claiming self-defense against a white person, you are likely to be charged. You are likely to go to trial. You are likely to be convicted. We still have a long way to go in this country. In Florida, when a white person shoots a black person and unalive them, that white person has a 40% chance of having a justifiable homicide. But when a black person shoots a white person, that person has a 10% chance of getting a justified homicide. I believe that they are going to try to charge her and send her to trial, but only time will tell when they get in that courtroom. It doesn't matter that he was the aggressor. It does not matter that she tried to de-escalate the situation. What's going to matter in that courtroom is that a prosecutor is going to say this black woman shot and unalive an unarmed white veteran. Black Americans can march and protest all year round, but in that courtroom, that's what the prosecutor is going to say. How can they not convict? How could they let this black woman go after she unalive this unarmed white veteran? If the law would work for everybody, then there would be no charges because the elements of stand your ground, she met all of them. Family, here is what I've been trying to tell you for the past 34 years. As long as you and I remain in America, we will be treated as third and fourth class citizens because the foundation of America is anti black racism, even before the US Constitution was written. I'm trying to build Gakai of Chicago to prove to the global African family that we were here and tried to help my people who identify as the SFM. I'm trying to bring the best of Black Americans with me when I travel to Africa and do my African tour. We're going to focus on 10 African nations so that we can do international trade among GCAM members and Native Africans and vice versa, so that we can help improve the lives and social conditions of our brothers and sisters who are unable to leave America due to their financial situation. That's why I'm not afraid about trying to bring my business to the quote unquote to the hood. I don't want my people to just limit themselves. I came from the hood and I've been trying to give back, but yeah, it's a lot of pushback, but no shame, no shame at all. This is why I'm asking for Black Americans beyond Chicago to work with me. And hopefully for them to come to Chicago once I'm able to build up my paper. You know what I'm saying? I hire them to help me build and run this business. We're gonna make our presence. We're gonna have our location um, on the west side of Chicago. We're gonna cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, and also expand to the south side of Chicago. Raising that bar. Everything I've written in that book, that's what we're gonna carry out to the fullest. And I'm not talking in code, I'm speaking in plain English. That's all I've been trying to do, and that's my calling. I don't like what I'm going through. It didn't have to take no 34 years, but hey, it is what it is. And this is why I created this platform. I'm beating that drum and I'm broadcasting my vision and plan across the United States of America as well as to the global African family. I'm not on here playing games. This stuff is real. And that's how come I bring up different topics that relates to what I talk about. Like what's going on with this sister, at the Walmart parking lot. It's unfortunate. This lady got to go through this unnecessary drama. But this is the foolishness that we have to go through. I'm like, doggone it. Let me get this business popping here in the inner city. Build up my paper so that way I can expand the business over to the African continent. Those that don't want to act funny style with me, no problem. That's why my business will be membership based. Those that want to stay in a burning house, let them burn. At this point in of the game, let them burn. I don't have another 34 years to waste. All right, let me go back to this topic. Please bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff, yeah, I mean, I'm not doing this for my health. This is real. Um, there is only one human family, and that is the human race. God created all these other groups: the black race, the red race, the yellow race, the brown race, and the white race. We all have our own culture. God gave the black race Africa. God gave the yellow race Asia. God gave olive race the Middle East. God gave Europeans Europe. White supremacist financial elites, or sorry, white supremacy came about from Caesar Augusta. This is what I understand. This is, what I talk about in chapter 3 in my book on faith. Luke chapter Luke chapter 2 verse 1 from the King James version. If you read that, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Also read Ezekiel chapter 34 chapter 34, verse 11 through 16, as it pertains to land. Acts 17, verses 6 through 7, is talking about there's another king, because Caesar Augusta thought that he was actually he's trying to play like he's God, and you know, he the one that started all this white supremacy mess. He's the father of white supremacy. Our plight in the America is Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 through 14, and Deuteronomy chapters 28 through 68. Chapter 28, verse 68. That's all I'm saying. My people, Black Americans, have been surviving so much injustice in America. That's a shame. White America owes us our reparations for slavery, convict leasing, sharecropping, Jim Crow, the Black Codes, redlining, racial discrimination, mass incarceration, and police brutality. According to the video, it turned into a verbal argument over a parking space. It appears that the guy parked right in front of the sister, and then he got out of his vehicle and started walking towards the sister. She pulled out a gun to let him know to back off. He kept walking towards her. She kept moving backwards. In Florida, you can stand your ground. She had no choice but to put him down. This is a clear case of stand your ground. The white supremacists online are upset. Remember George Zimmerman and Stand Your Ground, where he chased down a black teenager, um, Trayvon Martin, you know, um, and he was an innocent, he was an innocent teenage, and he was unarmed. I believe that people in the dominant society think that the Carmelo verdict was going to have a chilling effect on black people because our brother Carmelo, a teenager who was defending himself who from bullies who approached him and started harassing him and assaulted him. Carmelo stood his ground and used self-defense, yet they threw our brother in jail as a political prisoner. These white supremacists think it's open season on black people because of the Carmelo case. That 35-year sentence handed down by an all-white jury, that wasn't about punishing one black teenager. They are sending a message from the dominant society. They want to weaponize that conviction so that it sends a clear message. Defending yourself against white aggression could cost you your freedom. They think that we're going to be afraid to defend ourselves, and for the most part, that's not going to be the case. During the Jim Crow era, there were laws in place called the Black Codes, which stated that a black person was not supposed to use lethal force against a white person under no circumstances, no matter what they did. That's a that's what I'm saying. I mean, hey, you don't remain in a country that enslaved your ancestors. That's all I'm saying. Shoot. And so I mean, like I say, I'm just doing the best I can to get this business up and running because that's what this is about. Having a business. So that way we can put money in our youth's pocket so that way they can support their families and pay their bills. That's all I've been trying to do for the past 34 years. But hey, it is what it is. But that's why I want the whole black world to know my story. And ain't nothing changing on my end. Those that rejected my vision and plan, including family members, would not be part of my business because it's membership based. That's how I am. I'm not none of Jesus. I'm Emmanuel Barbie. Read my story so you'll know what you're getting yourself involved with. Everything that's written in that book, that's what we're gonna carry out to the fullest. And I'm not talking in code. I'm speaking in plain English. The devil can't stop that because hey, this is already predestinated. But I done my part, and I'm still trying to do my part to get the thing popping here in America first for credibility before I come over to the African continent. Those same unwritten laws remain in place. We're still going to fight to get Carmelo released no matter how long it takes. The dominant society weaponized these self defense laws when it comes to Black people protecting ourselves. When a Black person asserts himself with self defense, the system automatically flips the burden of fear as illegitimate and the aggressor's actions justified. We know the rules are different and we have to factor that in our reality. That doesn't change our response to an immediate threat. The criminalization of black self-defense that has that's been a structural issue for centuries. This Carm- Carmelo Anthony case and others, that's the modern um, that's the modern iteration of using the court system to try to strip away our right to bear arms for self-preservation. For example, when you're confronted with an immediate physical threat, the decision making process has to be made quickly because you're either going to become a survivor or become a victim. When faced with a life or death situation, most people are going to do whatever necessary to neutralize the threat, including using lethal force, just like that sister did at Walmart, the Walmart, parking lot. The 14th Amendment was supposed to give Black Americans equal protection. The federal government was supposed to protect Black Americans, but then you got judges who started reinterpreting the state laws and the federal laws. The Black community is starting to realize that outsourcing our protection to a system that doesn't value us is not a good look. There's a new um hold on. There's a new protocol, uncompromising self defense. We're not going to just sit around waiting to be the next victim. These white aggressors are finding out in real time that their action carry immediate, irreversible physical consequences. When the state refuses to protect the vulnerable, Black women and Black children, then we have to get involved as Black men. The CAM members will take the lead and push in for an anti-Black hate crime bill and other economic tangibles from these Black politicians who want our vote. Forget that just sitting around being a sitting duck for these white supremacist financial elites. I read a lot of reports on X. A lot of these white supremacists are crying foul. According to mainstream media, they only focus on the last 5 seconds of the video and creating this narrative that it was about a parking space issue. This white dude was ranting and raving at this Black sister that she had to go back to her car and retrieve her gun because this guy was an immediate threat, which was proven by the video. I know things were going to go a certain way when I first saw the video. On this platform, we represent the new Black media. The mainstream media characterize it as the person got shot over a parking. lot dispute. Here comes the propaganda. He didn't get shot because of that. He got shot because he was walking up on her and she told him to back off several times. The mainstream media left out that he was pursuing her throughout the parking lot. The mainstream media outlets like the New York Post, ABC News, etc., tried to make the victim as sympathetic as possible, saying he was 62 years old and a U.S. veteran. Notice they never portray a black victim in this manner. All of a sudden, they bring up that he served in the U.S. military. The mainstream media never tells you positive things about black victims. When I saw the headlines said it that it was over a parking lot dispute, I said they're getting on cold. I was like, I have to jump on this story, and that's what I did. I have done my part as much as I can in the wee hours of the morning to document everything I could about the case. Over here, we are going to combat all these racist blog posts on X, um, also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. They do not care that he was the aggressor. They do not care that he got shot because he was being confrontational while walking up on her. After chasing her around several vehicles, she had no choice but to put him down. I noticed that all of these X accounts, they only play the last 5 seconds of the encounter, the part right where he got shot, which you can clearly see him walking up to her. That's her Chevy um, Malibu. You see him standing in front of her car and how she's supposed to leave, and he's standing in front of her car. The lies were just disgusting, but I'm glad that they are posting their views so openly so that we could document it. These white supremacists are disgusting, subhuman, propagandist liars. This is a rallying cry to rally the white supremacist supporters. They watched the video with him walking up on her, and they're still saying he was not a threat. Jordan Neely, a homeless black brother, was yelling at people on a subway. He did not touch anyone, but he was strangled to death after being put in a chokehold by Daniel Penny, who snuck up from behind. And the highly profile trial concluded in December 2024. A Manhattan jury acquitted him of all charges. These white supremacists said, quote, you have no right to defend yourself and stop someone from assaulting you, unquote. Remember, Arbery, a 25-year-old brother who was shot and killed in February 23rd, 2020, while jogging in Georgia. The, the only reason they got caught was because they video recorded and were bragging about it online. No arrests were made for more than 2 months. The district attorney office first advised them to make no arrests. District Attorney Jackie Johnson violated the oath of a public office officer, obstruction of justice, when Ray Cross District Attorney um, Greg Barnhill twice advised the GCPD to make no arrests. Once before he was officially assigned to the case, and once while announcing his intention to recuse himself due to a conflict of interest. Three white men were charged with unaliving Ahmaud Arbery, George, I mean Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and their neighbor William Bryan. They chased Arbery in their pickup truck before he was fatally shot. I have to do the research and I have to present my evidence to you and the global African family. I provide all the evidence to you. All you have to do is listen to me and fact check my sources. This is one of the ways I help my community. But without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, things will continue to get worse for our people in America. Until Black Americans and African immigrants become GRCAM members and we build and manage GRCAM Chicago, things will get even harder for our people. GRCAM members will take the lead in solving Black issues in America. GRCAI of Africa would take the lead in solving African issues on the continents. Our fight is not for America. Our fight is for Africa because the EU, European Union, and the United States of America is coming for Africa's natural resources, such as our diamonds, gold, oil, and minerals. If we lose Africa, we lose everything. In order for me to come to Africa, I need African immigrants in America to work with me directly. First, by helping me get my ebook on that bestsellers list, and also help me raise the funds to get this film project fully funded and made. That's my credibility. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to do before I cut and run to Africa. I would like to encourage everyone to watch this video from Brendan Tantum. Just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. Notice on the video, she already has her weapon drawn, and here he comes running up on her. The person in the minivan understood had enough sense to leave. Now the public is seeing all of this and they are still saying if this is self-defense. If you're Black, you're wrong no matter what you do. As you clearly see, here he comes running up on her and they're claiming that they don't know what's happening. She's standing in front of this gray Hyundai. She's two cars away from her own car. Now she's behind the Hyundai where she was. He's following her and pursuing her. He's chasing her around this SUV. Now, here she is coming around the back of this SUV. He is stalking her. She got the she got the gun drawn on him. She is backing away the entire time. She backed away from her own car, back away around this Honda, back away around this SUV. He's following her the whole time. She is back, retreating, and she has no duty to retreat in Florida. That's what stand your ground means. She doesn't have a duty to retreat, and yet she's doing it. According to the report, it all happened in broad daylight shortly before 12:30 p.m. Police received a call. Arriving at the parking lot, found a man shot. They rushed him to the hospital. He did not survive. The woman who fired the shots did not flee. She stayed at the scene and told detectives it was self-defense. Why would you threaten someone over a spot they were already in? He was the aggressor. He needed to de escalate and walk away. Florida was the first state to enact a broad stand your ground law in 20 in 2005. In the eyes of these white supremacists, being able to neutralize a white person with immunity cannot stand. You cannot have the optics of the idea that a white person could lose their life over threatening a black person. This is a privilege reserved only for white people. The white supremacist is the only person with the power of life and death. This is going to send a message to white supremacists everywhere that they better watch their step. The system is supposed to step up and execute white supremacy. Now the system was supposed to back him if he attacked her. The attack failed. Now they expect the system to step in and take his side. Since his attack failed, the system is now supposed to step in and resume the assault. They're terrified that their system to enforce white supremacy is going downward. That's why they're sounding the alarm and treating this like an emergency. In the chat room, you ask a very good question. How is this video available to the public so fast? Because the person who took the video had uploaded online. Most likely this if this video had not been released, she would have been arrested and claimed she was guilty. Now that they have no choice but to allow the law to take its course, the problem that they have is that she followed legal procedure. For example, she gave him a verbal command to stop where he was. Then she began to go backwards to give him room and time. You cannot argue that she ran up on him. She ran up on He ran up on her. You cannot argue that she shot him on sight. She did not. You cannot argue that she gave him every opportunity to stop multiple times. She backed away around three cars and he continued to pursue her. Finally, she neutralized the threat. She did everything that they train police officers to do. If they attempt to prosecute her, they would basically be indicting every single police officer in the state of Florida and beyond, which is why they didn't want to touch this because now that's it's clear on video. She followed textbook police procedure and the white supremacists are angry. They didn't have the opportunity to hide it or suppress it. Everyone sees it for what it is. So if you're going to try to do this, you're going to have to indict the police along the lines and explain how is it that the police are justified. But she's not because she followed police procedures. And this is why you all need to make sure that you document these things because road cops are going to hide the video immediately. The prosecutors are going to go along with what's being on code with white supremacy. My question to all of my listeners um, across the United States, if this lady was your mother or daughter, what advice would you give her? Some strange strange dude decided to run up on her. Would you be telling your um your mother or daughter just calm down? He's not a threat. He's just running up on you and yelling at you and cussing you out, following you around cars. He's not a threat. People like George Zimmerman, Daniel Penny, Chud the Builder, or anyone else, they're trying to brainwash you into accepting that it's your responsibility to never be a threat, even if they're threatening you or assaulting you. The only thing you can do is run. all over social media. They are still talking about this woman fatally shooting this man during an argument over a parking space. This ain't about a parking space at this point. She's saying, "Stop stalking me." He's chasing her, and they're still talking about, you know, she shot him over a parking space. He got shot because he's stalking this woman and walking up on her in a threatening manner. So they are upset. I don't have a millions of followers on X, but I ain't a peep squeak neither. Good Morning America came straight to his defense. They're clipping things out of context. On the video, he's been chasing her for 2 minutes. Officer Brandon Tantum weighed in on it. And guess what he had to say? He said, and I'm going to play that video, like I say, once I finish going through this presentation. So he said, quote, based on what I know and what we can see here, this looks like self-defense to me, unquote. When you have an officer saying exactly what I said, you can't get away from it. I didn't mischaracterize the event. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites that you're on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic: what happened to Nolan Wells? A young brother by the name of Nolan Wells was found unalive after partying with a group of white friends on a secluded island during the 4th of July. I need for you all to please give me a retweet, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying. Let everybody know that we're live right now. I had to talk about this Nolan Wells case. It's very important. This needs to be a wake up call for all of our young brothers and sisters. This young brother lost his life because he went to a secluded island with his all white friends. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old brother. He decided to hang out with his all white friends during the 4th of July. That was a major mistake. So they all traveled to some island off the coast of Mississippi. So he rides on a boat with his all white friends. They all came back without him. They were talking about Nolan taking a ride with someone else. The authorities discovered his body. The dominant white society does what they do best. They get on cold with each other. Law enforcement gets on cold. The mainstream media gets on cold. Now more information is coming out from what I understand. Some say that Nolan got into an argument with some of those white guys. Remember the sister who went to Africa with her white husband. They got into an argument and then she ended up unalived. From what I understand, some of these white guys hired lawyers. You have to be suspicious about white people and some black people as well, because black Americans have become Americanized and have also taken on the colonizers' ways. We see this type of situation time and time again. Now most DAS FM know better. Nolan Wells was raised by his Asian mother. Remember, a few years back in 2021, there was a guy named Peter Spencer who was a Jamaican immigrant out here in Pennsylvania. Y'all look this story up. He went hunting with a group of white friends. They took him out in the woods and unalived him. Their excuse was that he was acting erratic and they were afraid and feared for their lives. We are familiar with the case of Tama Hortford, a black woman in Georgia who did a sleepover with a bunch of white women. They found her dead the next morning in the backyard, and all those white women gave a bunch of inconsistent statements talking about she fell out of the window because she was intoxicated. There was another incident in 2004. A brother named Els Els hold on. It's Alonzo. So I'm trying to see how to pronounce that. Alonzo Brooks, 23 years old. He went to a party in a predominantly white neighborhood in Kansas. His friends said they lost track of him. Authorities found his body a month later in a creek. In 2020, there was another incident. A brother named Elijah Weatherspoon. He was an 18-year-old black teenager in South Carolina. He went on a boating trip with his all white friends. He didn't return. Authorities found his body in a river. His family and community advocates were concerned about the conflicting stories these people were saying. It's the same thing. My message to black parents: if you have school age children, you better know who your children are friends with. This is the main reason why I am trying so hard to get the Kyle Chicago up and running so that our black youth who reside in the low income black community can have a safe space to go and play. Again, I'm not getting pushback from white America. I'm getting pushback from black America, the same people this business is intended for. Lord, have mercy on my racial group. Just have mercy on them. Real talk. You can't be kicking it with a bunch of white people and you're the only black person. You just don't do that. We as descendants of American slaves slash freemen, we know what it is. Understand they can get away with things like this because of the system of white supremacy. Notice when something happens to black people, in many cases, nothing happens. They hire lawyers, and all of a sudden, everybody catches amnesia. They stick to some unified, vague story like, well, he just wandered off. We don't know where he went. They know the system is designed to protect them and give them the benefit of the doubt. Understand, law enforcement, they have a vast interest in white innocence. Anytime there's a case of a black person who's around a bunch of white people, they end up missing. All of a sudden, law enforcement turns into Mayberry. The criminal justice system historical function is to protect the dominant society. When the last people to see a black person alive are white, police are extremely reluctant to disrupt the lives of these um, white youth. They immediately look for ways to rule it as an accident or a suicide. They are they are not going to criminalize the white youth that's being off that's being off code. Even mainstream media is on code. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking that being accepted into white society circles provide you some kind of shield of protection or validation. It doesn't. Proximity to the dominant society does not transfer privilege to the black friend. When a crisis pop off, that proximity leaves that black friend completely isolated in an environment where nobody has their best interests at hand. That's the problem. This is a historical thing. There's a pattern. Don't take my word for it. We live in the information age. Do the research. Look at archives, records from the 18th century, early 20th century. You see the same thing. The local newspapers write it off as a mystery. Nobody's held accountable. This is the system of white supremacy, ladies and gentlemen, where the DAS FM family, y'all know that was kind of an unspoken rule. You don't go to their homes. How many white people homes did you go to growing up? Our brother, um, Nolan, may he rest in power. That's very tragic. But again, this brother had a father. I don't know if his dad was Black American, African, Afro Latino, or Afro Caribbean. His mother was Asian. When you're raised outside of a DAS FM survival framework, you might be taught that simulation into the dominant society is a shield. But the reality is, if you're the only black person in a secluded environment, that shield is imaginary. This is a biracial child raised under the influence of an assimilationist culture by his Asian mother, where whiteness is the culture viewed as the ultimate standard of safety and success. They don't develop a DAS FM radar for radical danger, for racial danger, I mean. These other people, they're taught if they act right, speak right, hang out with the right crowd, they're going to be safe. That leaves them completely vulnerable, and the dominant society can turn on them anytime. So, family, we got to have this conversation with our children so that they don't end up like Nolan. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites that you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic: I'm Black American, but identify as DAS FM, not FBA, and here's why. In this episode, I break down why I identify as DAS FM, which stands for Descendants of American Slaves slash Freedmen, not FBA, which stands for Foundational Black Americans. The term was created by Tariq Nasheed. FBA have a bad reputation of causing diaspora wars. They are known to argue back and forth with African immigrants and Afro Caribbeans all day long for likes and clicks. I believe the term Black American still carries historical, cultural struggle, survival, creativity, and legacy. With so many new identity labels being used in our community, from African Americans, FBA, American descendants of slavery, as ADOS, refer to descendants of enslaved Africans in the area that would become the United States of America. The movement grew out of the hashtag ADOS, created by Antonio Moore and Yvette Cornell. When I did my research about ADOS, I learned that Antonio Moore and Yvette Cornell stole the term from Norris Shelton, founder of Descendants of American Slaves. The ADOS movement focused mainly on demanding reparations from the U.S. government. They wanted colleges, employers, and the federal government to prioritize ADOS and argue that affirmative action policies originally designed to help ADOS have been used largely to benefit other groups. Supporters of the ADOS movement said they should have their own ethnic destination on census forms and college applications and should not be lumped in with African immigrants or Afro Caribbeans. The white supremacist financial elites imposed terms on us to clarify us, such as Negro, people of color, African American. Later, we created our own terms such as Moors, Hebrew Israelites, Nubians, ADOS, DAS FM, Black Americans, FBA, Solon, and more. It is time to have an honest conversation about who we are, what we call ourselves, and why these names matter. This is not about disrespecting anyone's personal identity. It is about asking a deeper question. We are building clarity, unity, and power, or are we creating more division and confusion? Black American identity is already rich. It includes our Southern roots, our music, our food, our churches, our movements, our pain, our victories, and our global influence. Our objective for the grassroots community activist movement is to connect with other like minded Black Americans who identify as descendants of American slaves slash freemen and like minded African immigrants within the United States of America who wants to join us in building the best Black Christian business in America, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. Together, we will heal from the scars of slavery and colonization. We will learn how to respect each other's culture, learn how to do business together, reconnect with the continent, and replicate the business in 10 African nations. We will promote the best of Black culture and African culture, history, and community. We aim to do international trade among CACAM members and the locals and vice versa. I believe that FBA has turned into a trend movement. I also believe that ADOS has also turned into a trend movement. It's turning into we ain't African until copper Indians that Christopher Columbus was talking about in his journals. That's what these movements have resulted into. I don't agree with the rhetoric from FBA, but as I said many times before, FBA and DAS FM are the same lineage, but we have different ideologies. For example, Tariq Nasheed promotes hoodoo, which is the same as voodoo. I understand we've been here 400 years, but if you are claiming to be indigenous or to be a copper colored Indian, then your claim is different. Um, hold on. I'm having some issues with something. Right. Um, you're you're Indian, then you should have treaties with the United States government. It's a bunch of conspiracy theory, pseudoism that's going on. This is a complete different conversation from reparations. I agree with the delineation part, but under GACAM, we are about separating ourselves from the enemy within our racial group, which are con artists, black boule, degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off code Negroes, and urban terrorists. I believe, or I have been paying out of pocket, like I say, since 2010 for my business title, and still to this day, I don't have an advisory board or resource team in place, and that's unacceptable. I want Black middle class professionals and African professionals to have an associate's degree or above. That's all I'm saying. Um, so under the CAM, we promote Christianity, so that is one problem I have with Tariq Nasheed. He promotes hoodoo. FBA claimed that the code is the leader. All of the principles in my revised book is the code for CAM members. People under Tariq Nasheed camp, many of them are undisciplined. FBA is turning into a trend movement. They went from reparations to now talking about they are indigenous to North America and identify more with Native Indians than with Black Africans. They claim that they have no connection with Africa. For example, it was a twisted FBA brothers started leaving negative comments on my Substack page. So I asked him to send me his email address so that he can come on my online talk show and debate me on camera. A few days later, I got kicked off of Substack. I'm putting all FBAs on notice. If you want to debate me, then purchase my ebook first and read my story. Then leave me your first name and email address in the comment section. If you are not on my Facebook friends list, my Instagram friends list, TikTok friends list, LinkedIn friends list, or X friends list, we will discuss when you want to come on the show, get on camera, instead of leaving all these comments on my YouTube page. Put me to shame publicly. Ain't nobody's going to come over on my page and talk ill of me, and I have done nothing to them. On this platform, I run my show the way I'm going to run, the way I run my home drama free, and the same way I'm going to run my real business once we obtain a physical building and make our presence known within the low income Black community starting on the west side of Chicago. We will cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale. Eventually, we will expand our business to the south side of Chicago. Our objective is to become an economic base within the low income Black community as well as in the middle class Black community. We will build a bridge between the Black community and the African immigrant community in Chicago and surrounding suburbs. We will hold mandatory orientations to give local residents an opportunity to become GRCAM members. We will put everything out on the table. Everyone who wants to join us must sign a community pledge, pass our criminal background checks, and submit their thumbprint to be placed in our database in order for us to weed out anyone who would try to undermine us. There will be consequences for con artists, so we letting you know up front. Beware, this is the wrong organization to join. I'm just letting you know. And those with bad intentions. Before I cut and run to Africa, I want to make sure that Sister Renee will be well taken care of. She's been working with me from behind the scenes for 14 years. I want her to be acknowledged by us creating a local chapter for her in West Memphis, Arkansas. Those who refuse to accept my vision and plan, or who have rejected my vision and plan, including my family members, will not be part of my business because this is or will be membership based. My African plan. Once GRCAM members assist me with building and managing GRCAM of Chicago, then I would turn the business over to them, my advisory board or resource team, and we will do our African tours. We will visit 10 African nations, set up local chapters in each African country that will receive me. Again, I don't want to come to Africa empty-handed. I want to bring economic tangibles in the form of job creation for GRCAM members and their immediate family, and also for the locals. I will speak with each the African government behind closed doors. I'm not going to put everything out here online. This is just general information, you know. But again, I'm not putting everything out there. I will bring the best of Black America who are GRCAM members, DAS FM. We will bring our talents and skills to help improve the African economy in each African nation that we visit in exchange for dual citizenship and land. I am not under Tariq Nasheed. Over here, I run GRCAM, and ain't nobody's gonna tell me who to ally with. My business is membership based. Those who are not part of us, we'll pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. Like I say, last week some FBA called me a sellout. I'm saying how so? Because I'm trying to create jobs in the low income black community. That's a sellout. That's what I'm talking about. That's that twisted mentality. I don't fool with them kind of people, not at all. And I want them to get on camera and debate me. Yeah, they can talk all that yin yang, but hey, at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna try to hire people in my business, hire our youth to be in our black empowerment films, doing that in order to get them off the streets and out of gangs, so that way they can feed their families and pay their bills. And if that's a sellout, then doggone it, I'm a sellout then. Silly, twisted person. You know what I'm saying? I don't fool with that kind of person. Off cold. Don't even know my story. Some dude and some FBA was calling me a teller. I mean, told them that hey, I'm from the soil. We're from the same lineage. Ain't no teller here. I'm trying to help Black America. So you better get it correct if you trying to talk about me, man. Know who you're talking to. Know my story. You know what I'm saying? But get on camera and talk all that garbage. And like I said, we will have locations, shoot, a physical building. That's what I want. I'm not on here to hide behind no computer. I'm here to recruit brave and smart people that's gonna work with me. They help turn my vision and plan into a reality. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about, and I'm standing on that big time. Um, so as a Black American who does not identify as FBA, if you don't agree with them being xenophobic, if you do not agree with certain types of nationalism, if you don't agree with that delineation mindset, what I notice is that FBA would just be disrespectful, ostracize you, and call you all kinds of names. And I'm like, man, bring it on. Because ain't nothing changing over here at all. And I'm doing the best I can to move this thing to the next level. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on here just running off at the mouth. So you can do that with those immigrants, but you can't do that mess with me. Like I said, I'm from the soil. And I can handle you. I don't think you want no part of us. Or I can't even say us that much because a lot of people that I talk to, they get scared about getting on camera and all that stuff. But hey, it is what it is. Many people have an issue with the term FBA because of the delineation part of it and their negative image online as being xenophobic. How are you supposed to build with people like that? Why reclassify yourself to a community with people who are not even in community with themselves? Black Americans are not Indians. We should not lower ourselves to this identity politics. And also, we shouldn't be forced to agree to certain concepts. Black Americans of African descent have created a different culture. I believe that some Black people prefer to attach themselves to other groups because they have a low self esteem. I believe the reason why most Black people's self esteem is being as being indigenous or Native American than African is because of how white America have romanticized Native American Indians versus Black Africans. Native Native Africans have themselves have okay, I'm sorry. Native Africans define themselves through their tribes and through their countries. The only time they embrace black is when they come to the Western nations. I don't know why people think that all Africans think the same way and all Africans have the same culture. They don't have the same tribes. They are very diverse people. Nowadays, we have multiple racial groups coming over here and they are making it clear that they don't want to ally with us. But as soon as they are in trouble, then they want to claim Pan Africanism. We're all in this together. It doesn't work that way. For example, Haitians had 30 years to build an alliance with Black Americans, and since they distanced themselves, this is the result of not building an alliance with people who helped gave you an opportunity to come here. The same, the same thing with Asians American. They mistreated us for years. Now, as a result, Black Americans are boycotting Asian businesses in the Black community nationwide. I do stand with FBA on transfer of wealth back to the Black community, and that's about it. The term FBA, Foundational Black American, is a trademark term, and it's a movement founded to identify Black Americans from the rest of the diaspora. They started off pushing for reparation, but slowly the movement started to develop hateful rhetoric towards African immigrants and Afro Caribbeans, trying to rally up either with anger or playing with their emotions. They use the terms from other Black grassroots organizations that would never have associated themselves with. The ignorance that comes from the internet and the divisiveness is what makes Black people like me want to keep our distance from them. It has been, it has become a place where people are talking down to. Please leave a public comment about the topics in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites that you're on. This will help get the ball rolling. I am Black American, a descendant of American slaves slash freedmen. I am called to help improve the lives of Black Americans who become GRCAM members and build a connection with African immigrants who want to be a part of us. GRCAM members will assist me in building and running this Christian business, GRCAI Chicago, so that both groups, Black Americans and African immigrants, can build and heal from the scars of slavery and colonization. My people who have the moral capital, our fight for civil rights and human rights. This business is for you and your immediate family. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you for listening to our audio podcast and for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. I need you all to help support our film project so that we can move GRCAM to the next level, and that is the big screen, to let the whole Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for descendants of American slaves slash freedmen who reside in the low income Black community. Quote, Hood Liberator made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch begins. You can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our crowdfunding pages, which are our GoFundMe page, our Buy Me a Coffee page, or our PayPal Giving Fund page, which will help fund marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. Thank you all for listening to our YouTube live or the replay. If you reside on the African continent, then I recommend that you follow me on my Pod Chaser because it won't eat away your bundles. It's audio only. I provide the link in the comment section below this audio podcast. If you are new to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast, welcome to our safe space where we discuss Black issues and African issues. We do this every week. This will conclude our audio podcast for today. Like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next episode. Peace and blessings. Now, before we go, um, I want to show you a couple of things, a couple of videos. Uh, it says somebody keeps saying, "Stop begging, Emmanuel." My my sister, I'm not begging. I'm here to recruit brave and smart people. Those that's not interested, like I say, delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. I'm not FBA. I'm DAS FM, descendants of American slaves / freedmen. That's what that stands for. Let's see what else she said. I just got here. Can you tell me? Um, to me, it was justified, the shooting. But listen to the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to, you can get on camera and speak with me directly. Here's the link. I believe your name is pronounced Keisha. Yeah, Keisha here. Hi, Keisha here. I'm here. So all you do is click on there and you can come on and speak with me directly. If you don't want to get on camera, that's cool. You can do audio. Either cover up your camera or just do, a voice call. But I'm finna play some of my videos. So if I don't hear from you by then you just have to do it next time when I do my show next week. But no, sister, I ain't begging nobody. Not at all. Like I say, those that ain't interested, delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. That's how I feel. All right, we're gonna start with the New York. This is from I think it's the New York. Yeah, the New York Post. All right, oh, come on, trying to get this thing to play. Yeah, they got a commercial, so
A seemingly petty verbal argument over a Walmart parking spot escalated into a fatal tragedy. A woman was captured on disturbing cell phone video, horrifically gunning down a U.S. Army veteran. What happened to Bart DeGuglielmo, a retired U.S. Army staff sergeant who was shot and killed in North Lauderdale, Florida? Here's what you need to know. Shocking video obtained by WPLG captured the moment an Army veteran was gunned down, seemingly in a petty argument over a parking spot in a Florida Walmart. The horrific cell phone footage captured the 62-year-old victim, Bart DeGuglielmo, seemingly exchanging angry words with an unidentified woman in the parking lot of the North Lauderdale store around 12:30 p.m. Tuesday. DeGuglielmo can be seen slowly walking toward the woman as she backs away, with the vehicle pulling out from where they were arguing. The two shoppers can be seen repeatedly pointing at each other during the argument, and at one point, the man puts both his arms in the air as they stood in an
No, why
empty
he got to
parking
keep
space.
going towards her?
DeGuglielmo appears to follow the woman around another car as she aims the gun at him before a single gunshot rings out. DeGuglielmo, a New Jersey native and retired staff sergeant, can be seen clutching his stomach before falling to the ground. Following the shooting, the woman can be seen placing the gun on top of a car while waiting for law enforcement to arrive, with witnesses reporting her screaming and crying. Deputies in Broward County said the woman stayed at the scene, cooperated with detectives, and claimed she shot the veteran in self-defense. Officials have withheld the name of the woman. DeGuglielmo was rushed to Broward Health Medical Center, where he later died of his injuries. A native of Hamilton, New Jersey, DeGuglielmo served as a combat nurse, combat medic, and tactical communications expert, according to his Facebook profile. His daughter Amanda broke down in tears in a heartbreaking interview with Local 10, as she described her father as a, quote, good man, with whom she had recently worked on repairing their relationship.
I just don't think anybody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot. He was a good man.
The Broward County State Attorney's Office said detectives are still carrying out their investigation into the deadly shooting and reviewing the cell phone footage to determine whether criminal charges will be filed against the shooter.
But based on everything I have seen, this man, whatever argument that they got into, he chased her down. He approached her without ceasing while she had a gun in her hand, trying to avoid him.
Investigators with the Broward Sheriff's Office say Monday a woman and 62-year-old Bart DeGuglielmo were arguing over a parking spot when the woman pulled out a gun. Video provided by witnesses show the 62-year-old fall to the ground bleeding from his stomach area. The father of three would eventually die from his injuries.
Welcome back to the Alternative Show. I got to make me a Synergy. Y'all see I wasn't that pumped up when I was in the intro. It's because I ain't got my Synergy on deck, all right? I got the Synergy night, so I woke up with some good energy, but this will get me sustained throughout the day. So make sure you get you one of these Synergy cycles, right? Get you the day and the night drink. We have the bundles, 50% off. 50% off over 4th of July weekend. I ain't never discounted Synergy since we started it 3 years ago. This is going to be the first discount. 50% off the bundle, day and night. This is your opportunity to try it, money back guarantee. Let's get to the first story at hand, and this is the story that has a lot of controversy, whether or not this young lady was justified in shooting this guy in a parking lot. Let me start with this. It's sad because somebody died and somebody has to live with the fact that they killed somebody over a parking spot. I want to employ to you guys. I know you want to slap people and cuss them out when they do things. I do. I had to ask God for forgiveness. I'd be wanting to run people off the road and turn their car into a smoldering fireball. But you have to use common sense and think these things through. I was talking to my wife about somebody that I want to slap when I see them in person, but I'm not going to do it because I'm a good Christian. But you have to think about what will happen and the unintentional consequences of doing some of the things out of anger, right? I slap a person and I'm thinking, I'm just going to slap this person. You slap them, you knock them out, they bump their head on the ground, they die. Now you didn't want to go to prison for life for killing somebody because you were angry and think you were going to just do one thing and it led to another. All right, let me stop talking and get to the story. Roll it.
A father of three losing his life over a parking spot. And tonight, the woman accused of shooting him claims that she fired in self-defense. Local 10's Rush Lowe spoke exclusively to the victim's daughter. He's live down in North Lauderdale with what the video shows. Rush.
So you just mentioned this, and this is important. This woman is claiming self-defense. She'll have to argue that she had a fear, an imminent fear for her life. Well, tonight, we have the video, and you'll see it for yourself. And what we also have tonight are the words of the victim's daughter. And you'll see how heartbroken she is. The backstory on this case, she was estranged from her dad for many years. Recently, they were trying to rebuild their lives. when he lost his life. We're going to start this with a video. The victim with the gray shirt, the woman with a gun. There is a standoff, and then the shooting. You can hear it.
If you often feel your blood pressure is on the higher side, we recommend eating 2 pieces a day. If you want to maintain your cardiovascular health, we suggest making it a regular part of your diet. This is a deep...
He was a good man.
A daughter in tears. Amanda lost her 62-year-old father, Bart, shot in the stomach in a Walmart parking lot in North Lauderdale.
I just don't think anybody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot.
Cops say an adult female and the victim were involved in a verbal altercation over a parking space in the Walmart parking lot prior to the shooting.
I don't like to deal with that and like talk about it at all. That's why I was very hesitant to do this interview.
But you are doing it. Why do you want to speak about your dad?
Because I want my dad to be remembered for who he was and not who the media is portraying him to be.
According to investigators, the shooter, the adult female, remained on scene, cooperated with detectives, and she told them the shooting was in self-defense.
He loved his country. He loved his country.
Bart served in the military. There are no charges in this case at this point. Amanda says she was estranged from her dad for many years.
Okay.
But recently...
So she's estranged from her dad. They got back together. He's turned his life around like we hear all the time. Everybody always turn their life around when they get killed. But this situation, based on what I'm observing, this appears to be a self-defense claim. I mean, you got to think, in the state of Florida, they have stand your ground laws. What does stand your ground laws mean? That means you do not have a duty to retreat. So if you decided to stand here and the person is encroaching on you, you don't have to run. You don't have to avoid them. You can stand right here and stand your ground. And if they encroach upon you and you believe that you could suffer serious bodily injury, which means the guy can beat you half to death or kill you, you can utilize deadly force in self-defense. And so based on what I know and what we can see here, this looks like self-defense to me. Now, there are other contributing factors that could lead this to not being self-defense, meaning that if where he was walking was to his own vehicle and she shot him, that would preclude this from being self-defense. I don't know what conversations they had before this turned violent, which could also be a contributing factor of whether or not this is self-defense. But based on everything I have seen, this man, whatever argument that they got into, he chased her down. He approached her without ceasing while she had a gun in her hand, trying to avoid him. This is almost textbook self-defense. You have a right to pull a gun out and threaten serious bodily injury to somebody that you think is going to attack you. And then once you point the gun at them and tell them to stop, and they chase you around a car and they keep chasing you, and your back is against the wall, you have nowhere else to go, there's no duty to retreat, and you shoot the guy one time to stop him from encroaching on you, that to me sounds like self-defense. Let's watch the video.
A witness captured the shooting on a cell phone. And videos.
Okay, pause right here. As you can see, they seem to have gotten into a conflict at some place in this parking lot. But look at what he's doing and look at what she's doing. He's walking around the car and she's trying to walk away from him. You can't say that that's his car or her car because neither one of them ended at the car that we're looking at right here. So she's moving in the direction. He's following her. Watch it.
Cameras on a nearby Tesla show the crime as it happened. A man and a woman are arguing.
She's backing away from him. It looked like he followed her around the car. And she's still backing away from him. He's still going towards her around this car. Keep watching.
Walking toward the woman, follows her around a vehicle.
Time out.
A few moments.
She's moving away from him. She's turning her back to him. She's walking away. What is he doing? Why is he still approaching a woman with a gun in her hand? This, to me, this puts you in a particular mindset that what is his mentality that they're arguing over a parking spot and he's continuously approaching her as she's backing away with a gun in her hand. This man is going to approach her even now when he gets shot. What is he planning on doing? if she don't move? Is he gonna put his hands on her? He clearly don't care she got a gun in her hand. To me, that heightens the suspicion of how violent is this guy that he's gonna approach a person with a gun pointed at him. And here's a little bit more of the video rolling.
Later, investigators say she shot him. A relative sent us this picture of Bart at Google.
They're trying to make his image look better. Only objection that I would have to this being self-defense, go back a little bit to the clip where they're standing in front of the car. The only way I could see this turning poorly for her, can play the clip.
A few moments later, investigators.
Pause. As if that white car is his vehicle. That's the only thing that I could see that could cause this woman to end up getting charged, is that if that man was going back to his own vehicle, which is this white car, and she's standing there and she decides to shoot him and not allowing him to get back in his own car, and his argument, or the argument from the prosecution would be, is that the man was not a threat to her. The man is just walking to get into his car and she shot him. That's the only thing that can get this woman hemmed up. But if that's not his car right there, and she has been dodging him, walking away from him with the gun in her hand, and he approaches her for the last time, she don't have to wait to get beat up. She don't have to wait for him to pull a gun. She don't have to wait for any of those things. If she fears serious bodily injury or death, she can utilize deadly force against this man. And a man of his size, maybe she can argue that she was intimidated and she was afraid he was going to do something. Who knows what he said? He could have been saying, "I'm going to kill you." We don't know. Now, what we do know is that she hadn't been arrested yet. Now, the reason that she hadn't been arrested is because they have not determined if this goes beyond self-defense. And if a person is not a flight risk, they'll let you stay at home while they investigate. Because what happens is, if they arrest you too soon and they don't have all the evidence they need to proceed in the case will get thrown out. So there's a time period that once you get arrested, they have to try you. They can't just arrest you and then wait to a month or two to figure out what the evidence is. They have an ability that they have to at least get an initial appearance. And that initial appearance has to come very quickly after you've been arrested. I think it's like 3 days or something like that.
Who have heard and are still here.
Fair Use African Diaspora News Channel.
All about the birthright citizenship decision that came down from the Supreme Court that basically struck down an executive order of President Donald Trump, basically saying that birthright citizenship per the 14th Amendment is over. You cannot come here and have a baby and then that baby becomes a citizen, right? Especially if you are here illegally or if you're here under a temporary status. So from that point, it being struck down, there was a whole lot of opinion and emotions and all kind of stuff. But most notably from the Democratic Party, they were very excited. And they were tweeting and making videos and all kind of stuff, celebrating the decision from the Supreme Court. Now, Yvette D. Clarke, who is the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus and the co-chair of the Caribbean Caucus, because she is of Jamaican descent, she tweeted this: "America's greatness was built upon birthright citizenship. Its future will be too." Man, what does that even mean? So are you saying that was built on the enslaved people because that's what it was originally for? Or are you saying that people, immigrants, illegal immigrants, or whoever coming over here having babies and now they have the birthright citizenship? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that illegal immigrants built this country? That's what America is built on? Because I'm confused. I'm just trying to figure it out. Now, she also went on to post this: "As it has been since 1968, and as it will remain in permanent glory, birthright citizenship is the law of our land. Today, the Supreme Court affirmed an obvious truth in this nation that a child of any refugee is as equally American as any descendant of the revolution, with the same rights, opportunities, and possibilities afforded to them. That's what she said in part, right? So she's basically saying that there is equal to the descendants of slavery. Our people didn't come over here illegally. We didn't come over here on our own free will.
We finally moved from California to Illinois, and it was the best decision we ever made, except for one thing. I'll get to that part in a second because it almost ruined everything.
Yeah.
But first, we left Los Angeles last August, and the change was...
Our people were forced on those plantations, and it was fought for, as Donald Trump loosely says, the babies of slaves, to say, hey, okay, yeah, we're going to give y'all citizenship. Y'all are free. You're not owned per se. You're now, free to be a citizen. So are your children, and so on and so forth, which is how I'm a citizen, because I'm a descendant of slavery. But there is Yvette D. Clarke, the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, saying that the people who came over here legally and had children, they're equal to us, and they deserve all the things that we get. I want to keep repeating that to you. She is the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, which means that they were supposed to. Right now, I know some of the founders weren't Black American, like Shirley Chisholm, but there she is, championing illegal immigration and the behavior and the things that they do. They come over here and have children illegally, and she's saying they're equal and they should get all the stuff that you should get. But she ain't the first person we heard say that. A lot of them have said that, right? Like Pamelia Jayapal, the congresswoman from Washington State. She thinks that they should get reparations, they being illegal immigrants, due to being harmed by the Trump administration. I'll show it to you. Just here you go.
Then we also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation.
As you saw there, I'm gonna keep showing that to y'all, because like I said, a lot of y'all ain't mad enough about that for me, that this lady said that illegal immigrants should get reparations because they were harmed by ICE. Never mind Black American descendants of slavery who was harmed by America. Never mind that, right? And guess what? Some of y'all gonna go out there and vote for that, but I'll hold off on that in just a minute. Then there's another tweet by another congresswoman. This is what she said. I am the proud daughter of Guatemalan immigrants. I am a proud, quote unquote, anchor baby, and I am an American. So that was Delia Ramirez. And I saw her, she was talking about how her mother came over here pregnant and had her. Her mother came over here illegally and had her. And that's why you heard, these are her words, those aren't mine. She says she is a proud anchor baby. And so she is a congresswoman who has the ability to legislate and make rules and laws and things like that will favor illegal immigration. And we know that the Democratic Party, they are pro illegal immigrant and con Black Americans, right? And really anybody in America, but especially Black Americans, their most loyal group of voters. They are championing illegal immigration and are proud and hijacking the things that was meant for us and bragging about they mamas coming over here, having them here illegally. And now they sit up in Congress. Ain't that something? But you know what? I'm not necessarily mad at them. It sucks what they're doing. I'm mad at you. Yeah, I'm you. If you keep voting for the Democratic Party, and listen, I'm not telling you to vote for the Republicans. I'm just telling you for the party you do vote for. And if you don't vote for them, then you can still listen. But I'm talking to you. These people are unapologetic about what they are doing and are trying to do to this country. They are unapologetic about the benign neglect of Black Americans. They're doing it in your face. They're not even hiding anymore. They're telling you we want to give the illegal immigrants everything. Give it to them all. Brand new socks and drawers, which you don't get, and you gonna go vote for that. You know why? Because you silly, and I'm trying to be austere. You silly. You allow people to guilt you into, oh, you know, Trump's a boogeyman. Yeah, he all that, okay? But you let the Democrats guilt you into voting for more of nothing for yourself. Dr. Claude Anderson warned us. Watch this.
Have an unending influx of immigrants into the country. And that's what Dr. Price is talking about. And nobody, no Black politician, no Black organization wants to deal with that issue. They will avoid it at all costs, even though in their hearts they know that's one of the biggest problems for Black folk. We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years, approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a third grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4. And the worst part about it is as you descend and go down to number 4, those other groups are going to go up. And as they go past you, you're going to have major racial clashes in this country. You're going to have fights all over this country between Blacks and Hispanics, Blacks and Asians, Blacks and poor whites. And Black folk cannot fight all these groups. Everybody can not always be against Black folk.
Hey, have you ever been told you have a nice voice? Well, what if I told you you could turn your voice?
So that was his warning of what was going to happen to us at the time. That was in 1990 when he said that, right? We were number 2 in population, whites, and then Blacks. But now it's white, Hispanic, Black, Asian, and we about to be, as he said, at the bottom. He said if you wasn't getting nothing as number 2, what you think you're going to get as number 4? Even more of nothing. And here you are continuing to vote for the same old benign neglect and watching these people play in your face. And then you know what? Some of y'all gonna get in this comment section and crash out and be mad at me for trying to enlighten you as to why are you voting for a group of people who do not vote for you? Why do you do that? Right? Now, ultimately, we should vote for self by practicing group economics, accepting our own and being ourselves, right? Do for self, circulate our dollars more than 6 hours in our community, build up. That's the ultimate vote. But I'm saying that you are still voting for a party that will do for everybody else and nothing for you. You got to own some of that. Some of that is on you that you do that. You can't keep ripping the Band-Aid off. And hell, Black Americans ain't never got no Band-Aid, right? But if we do get one, you can't keep ripping it off time. Ow, I'm bleeding. Can somebody get me a Band-Aid? No, because you keep doing it to yourself. But keep on voting like that. Keep on voting for them people who are laugh and dance and celebrate illegals coming over here and having babies and then getting the resources that you are being told you can't have. You keep doing that. And what Dr. Claude Anderson told us is going to come to fruition, if it hasn't already, of being a permanent underclass, because you keep doing it to yourself and then you keep wondering why it keeps being done to you. You keep doing it to you. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra K Show, here on YouTube. People are celebrating the 4th of July, Independence Day, where the United States of America won its independence from Great Britain in 1776. Now, when I say United States, that necessarily didn't mean us, right? Because our ancestors were still enslaved, although they fought in that war. In fact, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, we are actually very patriotic because our people, our ancestors, right, even to this day, are the only group of people that fought in every war that this country was and is involved in. Okay, so you can be patriotic, but what I want to know is, are we really free as Black Americans, even in 2026, which, you know, this year marks the 250th anniversary, right, of the country being free? Are we free? Now, I'm not talking about the shackles on your arms or on your legs. Are we free? I'm talking about the shackles on our mind. I'm talking about the shackles on our money. I'm talking about the shackles on how we vote. Are we really free? Think about it. I'm not trying to be condescending, and I'm not even trying to tell you not to celebrate, because, you know, they gave us Juneteenth, which we was already celebrating Juneteenth, right? We didn't need Biden to give us that funky holiday, right? But they gave us that because we know that we weren't free to almost 100 years later after, the independence of the United States. But, you know, are we free? When I say mentally, and we're getting better, okay? But mentally, the way we think, the things that we do, right? Think about some of our neighborhoods. Again, this is not an admonishment to everybody. I'm not trying to be, you know, austere or whatever, but think about some of the spaces that we occupy. Think about some of our homes. Think about how some of our children behave. Think about all of the crime and stuff that are in our neighborhoods for a whole host of reasons. See, you have to take the shackles off of your mind. When I say you, I mean all of us. We got to take the shackles off of our mind and allow ourselves to get some good information and unlearn some of the ignorance that is perpetuated in our community. Until then, we're going to have shackles on our mind, right? Now, I said we have shackles on our money, and it's the shackles that we're actually putting on it. Now, it's kind of in reverse, right? We open the shackles a little bit to give 97% of that $2 trillion spending power that we realize every year to everybody else. And we only keep 3%. Okay. And because we do that, that keeps us on our knees of being beggars, asking everybody to help us, whether it's the church. And I'm not saying they shouldn't help, right? I need some help, or the Democratic Party or whoever. And it's like, well, if you wouldn't give away all your money, you wouldn't need to be begging nobody else to help you build businesses and schools and this and that. And we have it all. We could do for self, right? Up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. We could practice group economics. I'm just throwing this out there for the 4th of July. And again, enjoy your hot dogs, hamburgers, or whatever it is you're doing, okay? I personally don't celebrate 4th of July. In fact, I don't celebrate no holidays because I'm not giving these white folks no more money, okay? But the other thing is how we vote. We are shackled to the Democratic Party. Are we not? Not all of us, but we as Black folks here in America, we give the majority of our votes, I don't care what they're running for, to the Democratic Party, shackled to them. And what do they do for us? And don't give me that all lives matter policies. I'm talking about specifically for Black Americans, their most loyal group of voters. What do we get from them? The answer is nothing. We don't get really anything from the Republicans either. But again, that conversation ain't with them because we don't give them all of our votes. Now, do we? No. So a happy Independence Day, 4th of July, whatever it is. Again, I'm not shaming or judging anybody. I'm just asking you to think about that. Because even Frederick Douglass, he said, what is 4th of July to a slave? When, you know, the country for almost 100 years before we were actually free was celebrating Independence Day and stuff. We weren't free. We still bent over in them fields, picking cotton and God knows whatever else was out there. That's what we were doing. So he was asking, what is it to a slave? And even to this day, because we are still shackled in our thinking and our money and the way we vote and some other things, what is the 4th of July to us if we won't free ourselves? As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, check this out.
So you can't walk the walk of free men. In a modern time like this, you walk like a slave. Pharaoh has already let you go. But it is you who have not let Pharaoh go. because you think you cannot walk without your former slave master. And if your former slave master don't help you, you don't think there's any help for you. Even though you're taught God, you live in fear of your former slave masters and their children.
Said Pharaoh let us go a long time ago, but we won't let Pharaoh go. Think of that. Why won't we let go of Pharaoh? Why won't we take the key to the shackles that we have and boop, boop, and say, deuces, peace, I'm done. I'm going to go liberate myself and my people. Why won't we do that? You know why? Because sometimes as a people, we have low self-esteem, and we're unlearning that. We're raising the esteem of our people, and I love that for us. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra K Show, here on YouTube.
Public service announcement. If you're the only Black person in your friend group, you should probably not be in that friend group. I see it happens time and time again, and this is from somebody. I am from Mississippi. Born, raised here. I grew up with so many white friends, and I stayed the night with some of my best friends in middle school, high school, that were white. I had white friends spend the night with me at my house, quite literally. I don't know if you think that it's a fucking badge of honor. It's not. It's not. Why would you want to be the... I'm sick of this. Like, it never fails. It always happened. Did y'all not learn from the lady, the Black lady? She went to stay with her friends, and she was the only Black one there. Some sort of color is needed other than you. I don't... They're Mexican. They could be Hispanic. But something... You need some other form of color. My kids could never. They've been there ever. You can't go to an Easter egg hunt if you're the only Black kid there. And I don't have kids yet. I'm just saying, because me and my white friend were still really, really good friends to this day. Like, real good friends. But if my child is the only Black child at all of your events, now I'm looking at you funny. And I'm questioning everything. Oh, you cannot stay the night. You can't go over there to the Easter egg hunt. You can't go celebrate the 4th of July. You can't even go over there for St. Patrick's Day if you're the only Black kid there. I don't know. It's just sad. Well, I don't agree with Black men or Black women being in interracial relationships when they know that their partner's parents or grandparents are racist. Why would you do that? And it's not even about you. You have to think about how your child is going to feel when they grow up and their family members treat them differently because of the color of their skin. Like, are you actually on drugs? Public service announcement. If you're the only Black person in your friend group, you should probably not be in that friend group.
This morning, the desperate search for answers in Mississippi after the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. Authorities recovering a body believed to be the teen. Investigators and volunteers from the Cajun Navy spent the weekend urgently searching for Wells after he vanished from Horn Island on July 4th.
Nolan Wells was on a boat. He left from a private dock area in the Ocean Springs area and proceeded with his friends to Horn Island.
Wells was visiting the barrier island 10 miles from the Gulf Coast, boating with friends, last seen about 3 p.m. Saturday.
They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
Later that night, when he didn't return home, his mother reporting him missing to police and then quickly taking to social media, posting pictures of the teen, pleading for help finding him. The heartbreaking discovery made about 8:45 Monday morning, when authorities say the Mississippi Community College wide receiver's suspected body was found in the water just off the shore. His mother writing, "His father, our family, friends, and I are absolutely devastated," describing Wells as a sweet son who was always willing to cheer and uplift others. Now, investigators say they suspect he drowned, but they're still interviewing friends who were with him as they work to pinpoint what exactly happened.
That's why we're still asking for information. If anybody has anything, any knowledge.
And that information, the sheriff says, will help them paint a better picture of what happened to Nolan in the moments before his death. A toxicology report from the coroner's office is still pending. Guys?
Yeah, situation. We are definitely thinking of Nolan's family and just hoping that they'll get the answers that they desperately are searching for. Alex, thank you for being on this for us.